Hello everyone, my name is Korosh Erfani. I am sociologist and researcher in philosophy. I wrote some books about a philosophical theory called infinitism, and I am trying to develop a new discipline that is named Infinitylogy, which is the knowledge of infinity. Regarding this theory of infinitism. So infinitism and infinitology are the two main core of my work, my philosophical work. And I publish a few books regarding these subjects that you can find in the website the crdi.com that you can see below of the screen, and over there you can have my books and also many papers, articles, blog, and things like that. So this is a project in course, and I am working on that as long as I am alive. And we will see what will be the result. For now, we are talking about this book, which is the first book that I published on the subject of infinitology, and we are making a lecture of this book step by step, and we were for the first 5 parts of this set of videos. We were in the introduction, and we reached the part where we said that when it's a question of the new idea, how it is welcome or not. And we explained that during this process there are 5 stages, and in the first one, you are rejected, your idea is rejected because they said that it's not really funded. And then after a few time, a few attempts and some time, some people start to, pay attention to what you are saying. And in the third step, it's a question of more clarification, more comments here and there. And finally, in the 4 steps, you have effectively a lot of intention, a lot of attention on what you are saying through publication, experimentation, and debate, and so on. And finally, you get to the point where your idea is effectively debated and considered in the different institutional framework. So let's see what could be or would be the fate of infinitology as we are suggesting that. So we continue the lecture of the introduction of the book Infinitylogy by saying the suggestion that constitute the core of infinitology could have the same fate, which means the same process with the 5 steps we have just talked about. But what is even more interesting is that this central idea doesn't actually stem from infinitology itself, but from a philosophical theory called infinitism. So I want to emphasize on the idea that infinitology here in this discussion that we have has a mission. And the mission is to see if the theory that we have already suggested as the theory of infinitism is something reliable or not, and if yes, how we can make operational the different assertion and the statements of the theory of infinitism. So infinitology will be a very functional discipline because it has to take care of what infinitism is putting forward as assessment as assertion, as statements, and so on. So we continue by saying this. This theory of infinitism, suggests that infinitude is not only an abstract characteristic of matter, but also a factual occurrence that any intelligent being can explore as it pleases. So the core idea of the infinitism is infinity is not a philosophical or mathematical concept, but a reality within the material existence. So if we know how to deal with that, we would be able to explore it, right? To know it, and then later I will explain, to manipulate it, which means that infinity is far beyond the abstraction and can be used materially, can be operated practically. And that's the beginning of the idea of the infinitism. So we continue by saying that infinitism, which is the utilitarian neighbor of infinitology, utilitarian means we are looking for the utility or the usage of the philosophy. So infinitism is a practical philosophical theory. Proposes that the edifice of matter is made of intercreating causal chains that continue in an interminable journey. So this is how we see, how infinitism sees the matter. The edifice of matter is made of what we call intercreating causal chains. The causal chains that are creating each other. And they continue in an endless way, right? So there is no any end for this causal chain. So first of all, the constitution of matter is seen as the causal chains that are intercreating each other, that are producing each other, and if you follow up one of these chains, either in the past or for the future, if you come along, you will see that there is no end. There is no starting point, there is no end at the in the future. So which means that is a in course or ongoing chain that is creating the other chains, and the other chains are creating more causal chains, and it keeps going. Now, sorry. Either it's an interminable journey, either in microcosmic echelons or at macrocosmic levels. So whatever is the scope of matter that you take into consideration, it could be in the subparticle or subatomic level, or it could be in the microcosm, for example, in the among the galaxies, for example, in the space. So whatever is the level, microcosm or macrocosm, you will have the same thing. You will have the intercreating causal chains that are going on, and it never stops. That's the idea of the infinitism. Infinitism thinks that this infinitude in the arrangement of matter could be well identified and intelligently manipulated to obtain anything we want and as much as we want. That's the core idea, that's the golden statement of infinitism, that if we can effectively identify these causal chains that are going forever, we can effectively start to think about how we can intervene in these causal chain and how we can manipulate them and how we can therefore get anything we want through the alteration of these causal chains. So if you know how to manipulate it, if you know how to change it, how to add the elements in the causal chain or reduce some elements in the causal chains, so you can obtain whatever you want. So in a word, infinitism suggests that everything is infinite or is not. So this is the basic statement of the infinitism. Everything is infinite or is not, which means that you can be sure about the presence of the infinite causal chain, infinite intercreating causal chains in anything without any exception. Because if there was an exception, it means that that thing cannot exist. That thing cannot be. So everything to be, to exist, should be infinite or must be infinite. That's the idea. The idea is that if we master the nanotechnology of manipulating the microstructure of matter, we don't need to continue operating at a large scale of production for many elements and products. So right now we are using a scale of production that is the most obvious, that is the most, I can say, primitive, which means that it's just by our historical habits, by historical conditioning mind, that we are using the nature and the natural resources to produce the things, like oil, gas, coal, and so on. But if we learn that in the structure of matter there is effectively the possibility that is infinite, that is endless, that is limitless, then we can start to conceive another mode of production, another way of production, where by manipulating the nanostructures, the microstructure of matter in the levels that right now we cannot imagine even, if we cannot imagine because we were not equipped with the theory, with the practical theory for that, and that's why we suggest infinitism as a philosophical theory for this. Now we can believe that there is effectively a level in the structure of matter that is manipulatable, that is changeable, and we can alter that, we can manipulate that in such a way that we can effectively change the matter we are working on into something that is our targeted outcome, right? That's the idea. So it incites us to explore and exploit the universal feature of infinitude. No variant of matter can escape from to implement our desired change. So we can explore, we can exploit, right? One feature of matter that is universal, right? What is this universal feature? The fact that there is an infinitude inside or within. And there is no matter that can escape from this idea, this feature, this characteristic, this specific, which is the infinitude, which is being infinite. And then we can be sure that any matter, whatever it is, could be changed. And we can implement our change inside of that matter. So, question, what are these changes? Desired change, our desired change. What are they? It's a question of directed modifications that are founded on the objective and methodic knowledge of the infinity of the structure of matter. So, if we believe in the infinitude of the structure of matter, if we believe that what is going on is an effective infinity that we translated into infinite intercreating causal chains, right? All these particularities as the technical aspect of our definition is there. Infinite intercreating causal chains. So, if we have the objective and methodic knowledge on these chains, causal chains, intercreating causal chains, infinite intercreating causal chains, then we can do anything we want. That's the desired change, right? So we can use and reuse. That's the statement of infinitism. We can use and reuse the material infiniteness endlessly and advantageously, which means that as there is no limit, no structural limit in the configuration of matter, it would be unlimited possibilities to change this structure and to get whatever you want. That's why we can use and also we can reuse that, right? When we produce something, now we can work on the structure of this product and go to get something new, something different. So we know that it's an odd idea. That's why we said strange idea, isn't it? Huh? We know that's strange. The idea that we can get everything we want and as much as we want in any matter, that's odd. Because until now, up to now, we believe that to get anything we have to go to a huge scale, we have to mine, we have to dig in, in the earth, in the land, in the soul, in order to find something. No, it's not the case. Infinitism says that we don't need to that primitive and caveman idea scale of production. We can change it. So that's a strange idea, but it is as strange as a lot of others. Like the one that once suggested the sun doesn't turn around the earth, but quiet the rivers. When we heard that at that time, we said, what? The sun is turning around the earth? We believe that, and now you say that, no, that's the earth that is turning around the sun. So strange, so bizarre, right? So, as infinitism sees humanity, society, nature, world, and universe as composed of matter, right? Everything is made of matter. It suggests, it proposes to change them through the utilization of the Abkites infinitude within this ladder. So as we have the omnipresent infinitude, right? Abkites infinitude or omnipresent infinitude within everything, within every manifestation of matter. So why we should not try to change it in order to get something we want, instead of trying to destroy the nature and environment in order to find it as is, which means ready. Why we don't have to alter the matter to reach that targeted and researched matter we are looking for. That's the idea. Nevertheless, We need to know how to do it. That's a huge claim. That's the very strange idea that should be effectively grounded on the facts. We cannot say that everything is infinite and you can find everything you want, so let's go on. No, it doesn't work like that. So we have to explain how to do it. Here enters infinitology. What is it? A discipline that has for its task the philosophical and the scientific assessment of this assumption of infinitism. So, infinitology is there to see if really what the infinitism is claiming is stating that everything is infinite or is not, and we can find everything we want and as much as we want in the fabric of matter, in the macrocosm or in the macrocosm. So is it true? How we can do that? That's the main challenge of the infinitology. And that's why we would like to use these videos in order to present you the idea, to discuss that, and beside the publication of the books, articles, websites, and so on, so that some curious people could ask themselves, is it true what this guy is telling us regarding the presence of infinitude in a material ways in everything? Is it true? If it's true, what would be the consequences? What would be the possibilities that will be born over there and we can use? This is the objective of these ideas, these videos, and all the efforts that I am doing in order to attract the attention of the people on the main idea with all these products, writing, videos, books, articles, and so on and so on. And I hope that some people are curious enough to, come forward and try to challenge this idea, or to verify that, to refute that, even to criticize, and then we can have a discussion through this and see if effectively there is any chance for the humanity to see, to find, and to use the infinitude within the material world. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will continue that in the next part. Thank you. Bye.